Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Hello, and welcome to the day after. The 4th, which would be...
The morning after.
The 5th.
Yes.
Oh, the morning after.
It's
right.
got to be the morning
after.
Who sang that?
God knows.
Carpenter Girl?
Oh,
Was
God,
that her?
I don't know. Karen.
Karen Carpenter.
But I don't have any idea if that was... If that were she, if that was her.
One of them damn chantoozies.
Could you get through a program without saying a French word? I bet not.
Oui.
Tom Sokolowski joining me because it's Thursday, as I mentioned. And hope you had a good 4th. And that's enough of that. You seem a little cantankerous today.
Oh, no.
No, you sure?
No.
Just a little, not quite your usually ebullient.
Oh, okay. I'll try to
A little
build
more.
it up, if that's the word.
He's not owning up to it, so I guess I'll back off.
Back off, bitch.
Yeah, right. See what I mean?
B-O-B, although I suppose that means something different. Now, do you have this propensity for people who are Twitterers and whatever? I know LOL, but so many other things
Oh,
they
it's
do.
so
I have
obnoxious.
no idea what it is.
I was talking to somebody this week. I keep thinking it was the weekend. Yesterday.
Well, it's interesting, but just
You get mixed up.
quick
Yep.
parenthesis. When I drove down, I didn't want to walk, so maybe I'm cantankerous. But there's no one downtown. The streets are absolutely
Well, because
empty.
a lot of people...
Well, I suppose took this end.
Yeah,
opposed
right.
to the- but really, I was really surprised.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to about the letters on the emails and that.
Oh, I hate that. I hate it, guys. If you have to say LOL to sort of prompt me that whatever it is you just said was funny or sarcastic
Yes, right,
or whatever,
exactly.
please stop it.
Although that's
Or even worse is LMAO. You know what that is? LMAO.
No, I don't know.
Ignorance is bliss. You want to know?
Yeah, let me tell.
Laughing my ass off.
Oh, I see.
Oh, yeah.
But, I wonder, there must be a linguistic term for this, just like, something that's come up in the last 10, maybe it's more years, where after you've said something, if you've said it presumably in a language that most of us use and understand, then I expect you to say you're right, you're wrong. But how many times do we have, there's a linguistic term for this, we say, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Or just saying, which is basically like, you listen to me? You listen to me?
No, that's absolutely right.
It's so annoying.
No, people, as a matter of fact.
It's emphatic, but there must be another word for it.
Actually, I know I'm going to be with somebody this afternoon for an hour or so who always says he cannot do 2 or 3 sentences without saying, you know what I mean. And it does. It forces you to continue to urge, It's obviously it's an insecure thing because
Right.
it's requiring your nodding your head
right.
and murmuring
And what would happen if you
agreement.
said, of course I did, because you just said it.
Yeah,
Schmuck.
But I think that would really throw somebody off because they don't even
probably.
realize it's just a verbal tick. That's all it is. I mean, I think sometimes, they don't mean it literally. It's just a tick. It's to buy them
Well, it's maybe
time.
the newest version
it's
of like.
or
Yeah. That's what it was. In our day, it was then it became like. She said, she said, oh, yeah, sure,
I know, that's
and then now it's because it's interesting, Mike, because you look at the base of it, and it's either we don't, we always laugh about vocabulary here and words and what have you, but words are what make language rich. And is it because, let's say, kids, who this often comes from kids, their vocabularies aren't perhaps as enriched as one would like them to be, so hence they have to fit, and then there's a linguistic term for when you insert these code words, or filling them up with dude and other words like that, which are supposed to compensate for the specific word.
Well, also, I think the people who do this most are younger people.
Right.
And they're still learning how to say what they think. They're still learning
style,
what it is they think.
Well, that's right. That's right.
So unsure that they create these things where you're going like this at the end, which is also is this right? Because I just don't know. And is also a distancer.
Yeah, right,
I'm
exactly.
not. It's not exactly. It's.
Well, I think partly it's also a way of saying, if you get these little accretions to my language, then you're one of us. Like we've talked a number of times about our crowd, the shtetl, what have you. And if you use those terms that are commonality, then
you speak my language.
You speak my language.
You're
exactly.
my tribe.
Exactly. I'm not above you or below you or whatever.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I'm glad we settled that.
I am too.
I have two of them.
Cool.
Man, that was really great. But we do the. I'm
sure we all have some.
I have willed myself away from some of this stuff because have.
Especially given what you do.
Right.
You're on this. Now, some people can see us on the screen, but some who just listen, it's your language. They can't even see facial gestures.
Right.
So it has to be language. And if you can speak no good, although half of these people who are these radio people are such lunatics and fools.
So maybe there goes your argument. So that maybe.
Well, but then the only people listening to them are white trash.
No, not necessarily. So they might have a shtick. They might have. So they don't bring.
Oh, talking down.
Intelligence, but they bring passion and/or outrageousness and.
What was the guy who's Clinton? Oh, Carville, who's a very smart guy, but always talks like a farmer from Tennessee or something.
He's from Louisiana.
Oh, that's right, Louisiana, right.
So can I give you my
move on, girl?
Favorite stories?
Yes, please.
Okay. My favorite not. Whatever.
That was one not.
Yeah, right.
That's another.
Okay. It's true.
Can't get away from them, can we?
No. Okay, this happened in Mount Prospect, Illinois. You know
I know that.
Yeah,
yes,
sure.
Yes. Western suburb, I believe.
It's one of the suburbs of Chicago.
Northwest.
Right. Mount Prospect, Illinois, and in advance of the 4th of July, the fire chief there was doing a public demonstration of firework safety, so hoping to, limit the carnage, I guess. Mm-hmm. And while he was showing people how safely to handle fireworks, you can tell where this is going, right? Mm-hmm. A canister tipped over and shot a firework into the crowd and injuring a director of a local fire safety group.
Oh, dear.
Oh, you didn't laugh. I thought that was funny.
Oh. Well, what's that?
I thought it was funny.
Oh. Well, no.
Well, come on. You're giving a fire.
Well, but you would say it was a doer. No, but you're giving a doer face, and the baby died. That's funny, Lynn.
All right. It says here that Tom has now set a record for singing early in the show, and that's Maureen McGovern.
Oh, Ray, you are remarkable. You know everything from Greek etymology to Maureen McGovern. She must be 100 now. No, but it has to be in her late 60s.
As a matter of fact, I recall standing backstage at Point State Park with her during a 4th of July concert she gave. She ain't that old.
She's older than I am, I think.
No, she isn't.
Really?
I don't think so. Oh, maybe she is. Maybe about your age.
Okay, well then she's a nigh elder, or whatever I might call it. Nigh unto elderhood.
Think of all the names for old women.
hag,
crone,
cow.
Oh, God!
Oh, the
I don't
British
think a
love that.
cow.
Oh, that old cow. I love that
honest to
expression.
Pete. Think of all the names for old men.
Geezer.
Codger.
Coot. Altacaca. I love, we made this one up when I was living in Italy. Altacacarina. A lady which basically means in Yiddish, old shitter. So it would be old shitter ass.
Altacaca. Oh, yeah. That sounds almost like a Macarena thing. You could do
Hi, Altacaca.
Altacaca Marina?
Oh, there's a very funny group. I keep telling you, I'm going to bring in the disc called the Kinsey Six.
Yes.
And as some of you may remember, Dr. Kinsey had various ratings, whether one was either 100% homosexual or 100% heterosexual,
right.
And 100% homosexual was the number 6. And these are a group of 4 very smart gay men. 3 graduated from Harvard Law School and whatever, and they decided, sort of for fun, they do an a cappella group. And they
following in the footsteps of, like, I mean, if they're doing clever stuff like I was going to say Norman Lear.
Yeah.
Lehrer.
Yeah. What was it?
He was a Harvard. He was a Harvard.
Yeah. What was his first name?
Tom
Lehrer, right, yeah. Anyway, but they do these songs, and they do the Macarena, but it's all done with Yiddish, like matzahs and blah, 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 get the galtika kakapisha. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember, but it's very funny. Oi! Oi, what is the British word instead of Macarena?
I don't know.
It's
Bring it
funny.
in.
I find it's hilarious.
Bring it in. We'll share it with the audience.
We will share with the audience. Oh, we can play something?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to find it.
And speaking of Norman Lear, we did get a correction to something that was said last week by the gentleman seated next to me. Melanie sent in the following information.
That Norman Lear was still alive.
Even though you had pronounced him
Well, that means
dead
he'll
God.
not live. What's that old adage, if you say that someone lives for another 25 years or something? Although he was 89, Jess told us, so.
Well.
So he's an Altacaca, to go backwards a little bit.
Here's another story that I just could not believe. A lifeguard in South Florida, he did what... how many lifeguards do you think actually end up saving a life? I mean, they're sitting there. What are the odds?
A lot, perhaps.
Do you think?
I mean, I don't know how much they would have to blow into their mouths and that, but I would think maybe once a day.
I mean, but leaping into
summer,
the ocean when somebody's struggling out there or something.
More often, I think, than you might imagine.
Okay.
I think so.
Well, this guy did it. He ran into the ocean and helped a guy that was struggling in the water, got him back onto terra firma. His name was, what is his name? Lopez. Tomas Lopez. He has been fired.
Da-da-da-da.
He was fired.
'Cause the man was a fish or something.
He was fired for, quote, leaving his post.
But not for this.
Yes, or this.
But he's supposed to.
He left his post. I know that you can sputter.
Maybe it is there. And I could think of trying to make order out of chaos. Maybe he was just supposed to say like yoo-hoo, and Jess was supposed to be the one to paddle out.
Look.
So then, seriously, the next time, so if Jess gets that one and someone else over there is, maybe I'm just the.
Here's
what
it
you call
says.
Those people on the tower in the airport.
Rangers.
I
thought Forest
They say TWA.
Air traffic controllers.
Air traffic control. Well, that's what they do. They don't go and save the plane. They tell everyone what to do.
But going off on flights of fancy here. A South Florida lifeguard was fired after leaving his post. The company he works for is paid to patrol the beach. So I guess this is a new idea of lifeguard.
He was sort of.
No, he was probably there to make sure people weren't I don't know.
Peeing on the water.
Yeah, right. Whatever. He broke a company rule and could have, get this, endangered beachgoers when he left his post to help a man struggling in the water. The company said it has, quote, liability issues, end quote, and lifeguards are not supposed to leave their designated areas.
Well, then why do they have those little ramps that they run down? I mean, who then, my question would be, forsooth, who then is supposed to save the person if it's not the lifeguard?
God.
Well, all right. I mean, that's sort of stupid. There should be X, Y, and Z, like someone else takes that up, but that seems to make no sense.
I agree.
Unless it could be, I know in some big people, beaches peopled by a lot of people.
Give it
like
up,
the 4th
will
of
ya?
July,
Yeah,
they have like in the perimeter where you're not supposed to go farther out, unless you're an Olympic swimmer. They have people in guards and boats, so maybe they're the ones. That guy's supposed to whistle or something.
Speaking of Olympics.
Yes. How many events are you going to be in, darling?
None, I can assure you. But I have been watching some of the qualifying.
Well, Phelps is only going to be in 7 instead of 8 races.
Yeah, right. Definitely going downhill.
And not in one of his suits that make him faster. And now they have goggles that make you swim faster. But I don't know if those are illegal or not. Those suits are.
Some of the suits are.
Well, I think it's good because as a homosexual, I love to see those hunky men in little suits.
Oh, speaking of homosexuals. Did you and get me back to Olympics?
Well,
Because,
the ancient Greeks, Kalos Kagathos. Anyway,
I saw in the paper today that gay men are flocking to see Magic Mike.
Oh, it's terrible.
No, it's not.
Did you see it?
I saw it.
She saw it and loved
Loved it.
Oh, see, you flocked.
I got in the car, drove, paid parking, and that's flocking in the news.
Why did you think got nothing but good reviews? Why is it terrible?
The reviews are because I thought it was neither.
It's about male strippers for those who
right.
don't.
It was neither super erotic, which would have made it a little bit better, and it was so what's the word?
Trashy.
No, it wasn't trashy, really. I mean, if you know that men are going to rip their and be remaining in a job strap, I mean, what else would a stripper do? There was nothing. I mean, I thought the best review, I think it was the Times, said that it was not a great film because it didn't go to the point of. You remember that film Boogie Nights?
Yeah, but I thought they liked the fact that it wasn't.
No, because they made the point of here, that really showed the industry is yucca. Whereas this, it was like,
right.
a bunch of guys with great pecs, and they meet a lot of babes, and they get stuff stuck into their briefs. And only at the end does the hero.
Don't give it away, because I haven't seen it yet.
All right, I won't give it away. Well, also, didn't you think the sister was the worst actress in the world? She had one expression.
Yeah, she was pretty, and her voice is.
And her voice, she was terrible. She was
All
ugly.
right, you guys. Okay.
It's just, I think if you're going to do a subject that is arcana, but particularly one that's sort of dangerous, like the world of stripping, then I think you either have to be so sarcastic and funny, and this wasn't that, at least in my opinion, or you have to go to its underpinnings. Like, it's not just let the gals go out on one of their nights and they all laugh because their husbands all have pot bellies and they go home. It just was a sort of sitcom, I thought.
That's not what the...
Well, you go and you tell me what you thought.
So who was in the audience? Young women who wanted to ogle the men's bodies and homosexual men who wanted to ogle them.
No, because most of those clubs, they'll say women only. Chippendales and places like that.
No, I'm saying who was at the movie?
Oh, the movie. It was I went in the afternoon. There was maybe 6 of us.
6 of us? Meaning what?
Meaning, no, 6 humanoids. No, there was another guy, and then ladies of a certain age.
Okay, that would be it. That's what
with
I would
walkers.
My show was sold out.
Okay.
Oh, well.
Yeah, and
with what?
Younger.
Oh, really?
Girls
Wow.
screaming.
Yeah, we were up.
Oh, really?
Screaming.
Oh, well, the 5 of us didn't make too much of a quartet, or quintet, rather.
Okay, so speaking of the Olympics, and it seems to me, maybe it was you I was talking to about this, about enhancing how technology is going to be able to enhance humanity in that if...
You mean like through the poop thing? I mean, as being one of the things.
Well, it's one of the things.
Finding out how this bacteria and whatever can.
Right, but you can also make us smarter, make us pay attention,
also,
make us
run
run faster, they're going to be able to just figure out how to create,
web toes.
Well, so it brought us to
it
brings up these issues of when will a person be considered to have taken themselves out of the running.
Sure.
So it's like
Well,
the
yeah, because
steroid thing now. I mean, no,
because
wait,
you think
can we?
Steroid is simple. Like, I get it illegally or legally, I
Right.
take it. Second, I go to the doctor, and let's say if I'm a man and want to be a woman or vice versa, it again is a medical intervention.
Right.
And the next thing would be this very complicated genome thing where you take a normal, in quotes, male or female, and then you diddle with them to make them fatter, thinner, stronger, webbier.
I think you could have come up with a better verb than diddle.
Well, since I'm not a doctor, I would do
all
what
right.
you call medical intervention. How's that, my darling?
That might be better, but so anyway.
But the question you're saying was, where is the line?
What do
From
you do?
taking vitamins to then incrementally.
Well, the Olympics has had to wrestle with a lot of these issues. There was the South African
man who was
woman.
I thought it was a man.
There's two South Africans.
All right.
There's a South African woman from last Olympics, I think, who is competing against this one.
Who's transgendered?
She's strangely male. I mean, I believe she does not have male genitalia, but she clearly is not quite. Her testosterone levels are off the chart. It is who she naturally is. I mean, whatever it is, she
we talked about
naturally
that
is.
where sometimes when babies are born with both genitalia,
right.
the doctors immediately decide, sometimes even without asking the parents,
they just make the child into one or the other.
Or whatever, yeah.
Right.
But you don't get rid of those hormone levels or whatever.
So there was a big hue and cry about whether it was fair for her to compete with other women. And I think ultimately it was resolved that, yes, she can and she does compete with women. The other South African
was the guy who
is the guy with the prosthetic
amputees.
legs.
You're right. Exactly.
He's a double amputee. Pretorius, his name is.
Yeah.
And and that's gone back and forth. Does this give him a benefit?
And there, I would say at least.
Is it a liability? Is it what is it?
Right. Well, I would say at least from the point of view, in her case, whether she is an anomalous creature or not, God gave her these hormones or whatever. In this case, he is running
with an enhancement.
Well, with an artificial something or other, call it enhancement or not, which would then be like steroids. It's something that has been injected to you. Yes, it is, because I think when he wait. I remember reading the article in the Times. When he walks around the street, he walks on regular kind of prosthetic legs.
These are running legs.
So these are meant to
they're
enhance, make him, because they bounce.
Allow him to.
Yeah. So in that case, you could say.
But here's the deal.
Because there are. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm being cantankerous now. No, I'm not. I'm just being obtrusive. No,
you're being contrarian.
Yeah, but why can't he be in the Special Olympics?
Oh, I see. Shunt him off to the side.
No, because he does have. It's like someone in a wheelchair.
Well, he doesn't want to be in the Special Olympics. He wants to run on two legs. What's left of
then I
his
want to be king of England. I mean,
okay, but I don't know, and I really don't know. And they've done all kinds. They've tried to figure this out. It has been decided he can compete if he can make the grade.
Right.
And the grade is set by his own country's standards, whether he makes the South African team. Well, I was sad to see.
He didn't?
He didn't run a race fast. He didn't get a fast enough time to get him on the team.
Okay, well.
But guess what?
Well, then that's the proof.
No. Guess what?
What? They made a special exception?
They put him on the team. He will become the first amputee to compete in track at the Olympics. You'll be hearing a lot about him. Oscar Pistorius. I said Pretorius.
Yeah, right.
Oscar Pistorius. He's considered a long shot to even.
Right.
And I mean, obviously, he didn't even rise to the level where he was.
I must admit, that sounds a little politically correct to me.
Okay.
Because, I mean, he'll get all sorts of cheers when he comes in and all that stuff.
But you know what's good?
Wait. And that's good, but it reminds me in the opposite way, when those of you who've been to Washington to see the monument on the mall to FDR, who I think, was
you have told this story 3 times.
Oh, have I? Well, but it's pertinent.
Do it.
But basically, FDR loved to smoke, and people who remember he had a cigarette
lighter.
No, not holder.
I mean, a holder.
Holder, which was very aristocratic. No one did, except very wealthy people. And he did not want it to be seen, nor did the nation really, that he was crippled. So whenever for example, for his second or third inauguration, he walked supposedly down the stairs of the front of the Capitol, whereas basically his security guard was holding him up by his elbows because he was thought during the war the nation should not see its leader as being infirm, because that would be a terrible example. So whether that was politically correct or not for the time, so be it. Well, they made this monument, which was really awful, artistically, in my opinion, and they don't show him smoking because, people don't smoke today. He wouldn't have been a smoker if he was alive today. Well, he's not. And they show, because he always wore a kind of cloak, and in this case, the cloak is pulled up on one side, so you see the wheel of his wheelchair. Well, that's rewriting history.
He would not have approved.
No, he would not have approved. And the whole nation knew he was crippled, or most people did. I mean, that was just history. You don't rewrite history just to make...
So it was politically incorrect politically correct in two ways. They showed you he was disabled, and they took his cigarette away from him.
Right. Well, in the case of this guy, and from the article and everything else I've read about him, I think I saw him on TV once, I respect what he does immensely. And he's going to know in his heart of hearts, he's marching in that parade like as a token because he didn't make it.
Okay.
And as an athlete, he would respect the fact if someone ran better than he did, whether we talk about enhancements or not just like, give it one for the giver,
Okay. Point taken. However...
We'll cheer him when he
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, he will bring this issue to the fore, and people in their homes will yap and wrestle with this issue, which is good. We need to, because it's
and shed a tear, I'm sure.
Maybe.
Oh,
Here's what it says.
Maudlin.
It's a great day. Who said this? Somebody. Who helped build this prosthetic. It's a great day for sports, and a great day for equal rights. There's no evidence that the running prostheses allow him to run at a faster pace than is biologically achievable. It has always been a case about equality.
Now, can I be cantankerous again for a moment?
Well, I said you were
yes,
before we even started the show.
No, maybe self-righteous. I even like that one. Part of this, I guess, what angers me, and this really does anger me, why is it no one talks about people like that gentleman who are doing jobs, whatever they may be, maybe even sort of ignominious jobs, to help their families, to stay alive, to teach other...
Like what gentleman? You said
the one, like the runner, Pistorius.
Okay.
Having a job, and they have 4 or 5 children, but the minute it's in sport, they become heroes because sport is so fabulous.
Okay.
And that really is sickening.
Okay.
Because that's something and I remember in this article, I think I can't remember if his family or the government, because of his talents, has gotten a lot of support. What about poor people who are crippled, etc., and just every day in their life have to get on, a bus, like the story you told a few weeks ago about the lady from Bhutan. I mean, no one makes their lives heroic, but if a sport person, is deaf, whoa! And that's disgusting. Sports are not the end and be all.
Okay, let me just say
humanity.
this. I'm with you, except that if there's a pitcher in baseball, as there have been, who's got only one arm, that is something. And because he's working in a high-profile position, he gets...
Entertainment.
That's right. It's the be-all and end-all of this culture. Entertainment. Mm-hmm. You get attention. It's the same for able-bodied or not able-bodied. Hard-working, regular people...
Stiffs, yeah.
...don't get anything.
Yeah, right. All right, fair enough.
But I take your point again.
Because I guess just sport just...
Sick of taking your points.
Because I'm always right, yes.
God, you are
No,
not.
because the reason I say it again, and let's tap into the homosexual thing again. Because I think sport in many ways, for people like gay people who weren't good at sports, or kids, fat little kids who weren't good at sports, it really has become one of the vectors in this country. Like, if you can do it or you can't do it, you really are on the bottom or the top of the food chain. When it really is, other than the athletic part of it, which is good for all of us. I mean, I should exercise. But not to make it the equivalent of corporal works of mercy, which we've talked about, doing really good things for humanity.
But you know what I think happens? A lot of the kids, the boys, who couldn't make the team and, weren't anybody's, they go on to be sports writers. And they get to hang out with all the guys and they get to judge them. And
maybe.
right? No,
but then that says slap your kids around because they'll grow up to be stronger. Did you see that in the paper the other day? That it was the Times.
Yeah,
that spanking.
It's always that subject comes up every year, and you can come out with enough studies that show that it's not a good idea, and people simply don't want to hear it.
Oh, Margaret is.
Your point is subjective, Tom.
Of course, whose point isn't? I'm a subject. Subjectivity means something prone to a specific individual.
Margaret, you got to back off. Yeah, he's in a mood. I could tell before. There were vibes coming out of your head when I walked in the room. I'm telling you, I knew it. And then when I said something about it, you no, and then we start talking, and see, it's coming out. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's just perfectly fine. I can handle you. I gotta take a break. God, what is this show about?
Truculence.
Truculence.
Truculence for Thursdays.
That's a good word. We'll be back.
Yeah,
email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com or call Lynn at 412-316-3381. Lynn Cullen Live will return in a moment.
Vote now. Who will be the chosen one in Pittsburgh City Paper's annual Best of Readers poll and register to win a new iPad. Pittsburgh City Paper available at over 1,700 locations throughout Western Pennsylvania and on the web at pghcitypaper.com and on your smartphone at citypapermobile.com.
You in the City and Hosanna House Summer Nights present Jazz Under the Stars, starring Najee, Friday, July 13th. 8 p.m. at the Sherwood Event Center in Wilkinsburg. Tickets available at Dorsey's, Stediford's, or charge by phone at 1-800-383-5760. Najee, live in concert July 13th. Proceeds benefit Hosanna House, a place called Hope.
Go to bergbargains.com for great deals on tickets to the Science Center, the History Museum, Carnegie Museums, and some of the best restaurants in Pittsburgh. During the month of July, spend $50 on Berg Bargains merchandise and receive a $10 gift certificate to Buca di Beppo. Bergbargains.com. Local deals, local merchants. Bergbargains.com.
Are you struggling with your mortgage payments? Call 888-995-HOPE to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about your options. Or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn at pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
All right, we are back. The big story today is, I guess, physicists around the world are just giddy. This is huge. They have finally, they think, proved that there is this subatomic particle that is sort of the glue that's holding the entire universe together, and that, in fact, is what gives mass to everything else. I mean, stuff about like this, I can't wrap my head around. I mean, I got the feeling both you and I have these more, is it right brain?
But left brain.
Our left brains are a little bit atrophied. But one of the things about science reporting is that it takes an extraordinary, I would think, teacher in a way to be able to take a subject as
it's so complex
and explain it to people who never took intro to physics
or failed
or failed it. And I God knows, that would be me. I'm in that group.
Now, was this, Lynn, because I only read the headline, a consortium of physicists around the world?
They've been working on this. You know that huge thing that they built under half of Belgium or something that is spending colliding
whatever they call
particles.
It, yeah.
I think that is where they've been working on this.
Nobel Prize this year.
Yeah, right. This is one of those things that's been hypothesized.
Okay.
It's sort of like, Einstein says,
yes, right.
Theory of relativity, and you accept it on faith because I guess at some point it was unprovable, but I think that's been proved now, right?
Yeah, definitely, he did.
Okay. So.
And what is this particle called? Is there a
It's
name
called the Higgs boson. Higgs is a man who is still alive. He's at the University of Edinburgh. He's a physicist, and he theorized the existence of this thing in 1964.
Oh, wow.
And so he's lived. They said there were tears in his eyes yesterday. He was there at the big announcement. And this is the thing that's been called the God particle.
Oh, all right. I remember that being talked about.
And here, the guy who I'm going to give unbelievable kudos to the reporter for the Washington Post who wrote the article. His name is Brian Vasteg, because he manages to help me get my head around this. Not in any. Because he knows how to paint the picture, and I'll just read a few words of how he explains it. A half-century scientific quest culminated early Wednesday as physicists announced the discovery of a new subatomic particle, one theorized to be so fundamental that without it, nothing could exist.
So now let me ask you a question.
Wait. It is thought to create a sort of force field that permeates the universe, imbuing everything that we see, everything that we touch, with the fundamental property known as mass. So that it wouldn't even, it couldn't exist. It wouldn't.
Well, so my question would be, from my picayune knowledge of science, physical science, where would it fit in terms of the atom? Would it be smaller than the atom?
Yeah. Subatomic.
Subatomic. Right, you did say
Subatomic. Okay. Now let me I'm going to give you two more facts that I think this guy just really is a good reporter.
When I thought there was force field, the first thing I thought it was Star Trek.
Yeah,
Put the force field up.
That's right.
So the Klingalongs can't come in.
The discovery of the new particle completes what is known as the standard model of particle physics.
Okay.
That is the equivalent of chemistry's periodic table.
Oh, okay.
Okay? We all know the periodic table.
Is, right?
Physics has had a standard model. It had a hole in it. This discovery fills that hole.
Amazing.
And it says the standard model lists and arranges the particles and forces of nature. Many of these particles were predicted long before they were found. And the Higgs was the last holdout and the most important. And then this guy goes on, it is thought to give rise to what they're now calling the Higgs field, a sort of force field that permeates everything. One way to think of the Higgs field, it's the water that the entire universe swims in.
Ooh, that's impressive.
But that's a good...
Yeah.
So I think this guy really... I can't begin to imagine. But physicists all over the world were watching this announcement. In New York, the announcement came at 3 a.m., and it says here that at Columbia University, 75 physicists were there at 3 a.m.
Wow.
Hooting and hollering. And here's the funniest line.
Jess is about to hoot.
Oh, we got a call? From some scientific type, no doubt. Hello?
Good morning.
Hi.
This Higgs boson thing?
Yeah.
99.999% of the world will not have any idea what the heck it is. They will not understand it. They'll forget all about it in a couple of days, but it is one of the greatest scientific discoveries in all of mankind. Rivaling Newton. And
my goodness, that's
figuring out what gravity was all about.
We don't.
It is a greater leap forward for mankind than man on the moon was.
Okay, so Higgs, this this happy-looking man whose picture now we'll see around. This guy, is going to go down in history as like an Einstein type?
Well, yeah, kind of. He predicted it.
It's got his name on it.
Yes, he does. He predicted it. He's the one who, 25 years ago or so, said everything adds up except there's this missing piece here. There's got to be this thing, and they finally found it. And which is kind of neat the way that theory preceded the ability to prove the theory.
But here, they found it because of that huge thing they built where they're shooting.
The Large Hadron Collider.
That's right. That's
on
right.
the Swiss-French border.
It's underground and is like huge. It's like
17 miles in circumference.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting, sir? I was thinking about this and thinking, all right, now in 2 months school opens again, and how and when will this important discovery, which you've elucidated for us, make it into every second or third year? I remember taking biology in second year and chemistry in third year.
Probably won't.
It probably won't. That's sort of
because it is it's so far beyond all that.
Yeah.
This is what advanced physicists. Actually, I've got a nephew who's actually studying this stuff.
Oh, really? And who are you, by the way? We're listening to you. And are you yourself in the scientific field?
No, I am not. But I think I understand this about as much as a non-physicist can understand it. And
no, you sound very articulate about it.
But I do recognize this as being a huge discovery. And there's also a joke about it.
All right,
better. You don't make a joke about nothing.
My physicist friends think it's the funniest damn joke in the world.
See if
this all has to do. This is the basis of math.
Yes.
So a Higgs boson goes into St. Peter's Cathedral, and the Pope runs up and says, "Hey, you're not allowed in here. We don't serve your kind." And the Higgs boson says, "Well, then how do you have math?"
Cute. That's cute.
All right, we got it.
It's huge.
Well,
it's huge.
It won't mean anything to most people. It won't change your life.
And
it's not going to suddenly do anything, but it is gigantic.
And I just want to say this. I understand that the Republican National Committee has issued a press release saying that they don't believe it. No.
Oh, I'm sure they don't. Anybody who doesn't believe in science but believes in God, just the fact that they call it the God particle, that's purely rhetorical.
Yeah, really.
I mean, that's got to freak them all out.
Okay, you. Hey, thanks. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I appreciate you.
But that's why. Well, I guess I know why, but why would the Republicans, when something comes out as profound as this is, and this gentleman who I thought was very articulate, even though he said he wasn't a scientist, and we're not stupid people either sitting here, but why would you have to come out with something that 75 hooting and hollering physicists at Columbia believe in and say this is going to change the world, with luck it will better the world? Why would you have to come out and say, what the fuck is this about? Simply because you want to prove that you distrust scientists, education, hardworking geniuses. I mean, that to me would be the main reason not to vote against. Correct, homophobia, same-sex, money. But how can you? This is like going to the Middle Ages.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so revolting.
I was kidding.
Oh, you were? See, I'm ready to believe it. I'm ready to believe it.
I was kidding.
Oh.
You got yourself
shame
all...
on you.
Well, jeez.
Well, let's see.
I was making a joke.
Maybe you were being apocryphal, my darling. Let's see.
That could be. Not apocryphal, prophetic.
Yeah, prophetic. Right. Yes,
okay.
Exactly.
So here, the caller called just as I was going to tell you what I thought was this funny sentence in the article. At Columbia University in New York, 75 people shared a bottle of champagne brought by experimental physicist Michael Tutts, one of the more than 6,000 scientists who contributed to the discovery. Wow. So, I mean, they've been working on this forever. Now, the reason I think that's so funny is 75 people shared a bottle of champagne. How? What, with an eyedropper?
Yeah, right.
What? How do 75 people share a bottle of champagne?
No, but something I was thinking about when he was talking...
That's big physics question.
Yeah, right, exactly.
How many angels dance out of the head of a pin?
Exactly. No, it's interesting. Something you just said, and I thought of it when our listener called in. Not to say that previously there wasn't collaboration, and now obviously with the web and all these, fax machines and then the web and internet and what have you, but how much collaboration in the last 25 years has speeded up every scientific endeavor.
So there wasn't just one scientist working in his little lab.
Because, when you think of Marie Curie or someone like that, she had assistants, but, to get something even to another part of Paris, of France or Paris, took forever.
Right.
Now, like, hey, Lynn, I just found the Toopy-Doop, and then I found the Scooby-Scoop. If we put them together, and people are willing to do that. It's not this super egotistical, although I'm sure there's some of that, but...
well, the interconnectivity allows for a lot of collaboration and sharing, and that's a good part of the technology.
Well, or the fact that we now know enough, although I'm sure it's a smidgen given what our grandchildren will know, of science, that because we know enough, what we don't know is so complex, like this particle, that you need just so many underlayers to get to it. But no, it's fascinating. But I'm interested because since you were being wry, but it will be interesting to see what they come out with. Especially because that line about, this is the God particle.
That nothing
would be more offensive.
Nothing would exist without it. But see, the way they get it, they can easily say, no, this is how God.
Right.
This is how God
so
pulled.
Intricate.
Yeah, this is how he put it together.
He might have done it by going zip.
We're just able now
peeling back the layers of an onion.
Look at how amazing God's creation is.
Exactly.
Right? That's all you have to say. You do not have to say it doesn't exist. But
because if I was God, the most, maybe I am, but the most boring thing I could see was sitting on my barca lounger saying, oh, there's Jess, she's been bad today, zap! Lynn Cullen needs to be bald, zap! Can you imagine? That'd be so boring. God has better things to do than that.
I've always thought that too. Well, I have better things to do at the moment as well, like take my final break.
Fine, my dear.
And we shall return. Tom Sokolowski, et moi.
More is on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
Pittsburgh City Paper is seeking 10 local artists to design their own street box for a public art project to be featured throughout the city of Pittsburgh. Go to pghcitypaper.com and click on the Art Box link for more details. The Pittsburgh City Paper Art Box Project, brought to you by McDonald's.
Bo and Bella wants to thank all of southwestern Pennsylvania, the USA, and the world for helping to liberate his native country of Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea has suffered 43 years of dictatorship, 43 years of human rights abuses, 43 years of corruption, and 43 years of kleptocracy. Even with $5 billion in oil revenue in 2011, the 700,000 citizens of Equatorial Guinea earn less than $2 per day. A proud Mount Lebanon resident, please help Gustavo and Bella usher in the 21st century by allowing freedom, democracy, and socioeconomic prosperity by the rule of law for the next 43 years and beyond. Email him at presidentandbella@yahoo.com to help free Equatorial Guinea.
Get Lynn Cullen Live on your smartphone. Go to citypapermobile.com now for Pittsburgh City Paper's brand new mobile app. Get the latest restaurant reviews, event listings, movie times, and of course, Lynn Cullen Live on your smartphone. citypapermobile.com.
You're listening to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Once again, here's Lynn Cullen.
Can you believe it,
we're back.
Well, after we talked about the God particle, the two other goyles here in the office, we're talking about baseball, how we've descended quickly.
Oh, give me a break. Life is rich. It's full of all... You are so anti-sport.
I am.
And I'm sorry, but the Pirates, the first thing I do, and have been for months, is go to the sports section. Even though...
Oh, Lynn.
Oh.
You've lowered yourself in my esteem.
The heck with you. Listen, seriously.
Joe Paterno.
Would you...
Sandusky.
Come on.
No, I'm very pleased for the team who work hard and for the city that they're doing well. End of sentence.
Okay. They're doing better than they have since my son was born. That's how.
Well, the whole time I've been here is... Well, now tell me, why is it that they're doing so well now? Is finally... Oh, Ray has something to say again.
Because God has smiled on us.
Well, maybe. But I always related to, and when I've said this to people, they said I was right, that the team was just cheap, the owners, and
well,
they didn't buy good players.
It still doesn't have it. I mean, it was one of the cheapest payrolls there is. But finally,
this group of players
we've got some really, you got all the makings of a team, and you've got this manager, Hurdle, who seems to be, it just seems like a good fit, like everything is. You got a young team. You got talent on it. We finally got some pitching, and we thought we didn't have any hitting, but all of a sudden, God, they're hitting like lunatics, and all of a sudden, this is one of the best teams in baseball.
Good.
If you look right now, it is. And people can be stunned. Maybe they're playing out of their. No one would have predicted it. But those of us who have hung in with this team.
Well, I very much believe there is a point where, I mean, if you have to have the modicum of the skill of the sport or anything, but there's a point where well, what's the word? Not anxiety. When you get like, when you get a rush of
adrenaline.
Adrenaline moves in, and that can move mountains.
I don't know. I mean, the fact is like we just picked up this a player who has bounced from team to team. He started the season in the minor leagues. He's old, and then some team picked him up for a little bit and then threw him back out, and then we picked him up and threw him out. Then we get him, and then this poor guy doesn't know where he's going to be sleeping one night to the next. I was at a game, I forget when he played us. He had just been called back, and this. Where am I? If it's Wednesday, I must be in what? Pittsburgh. I'm in Pittsburgh now. And he hit a double that scored like 2 runs or something. I'm trying to remember. And I remember thinking, who is this guy? Well, the game I was at Tuesday night, I know you don't give a damn. He won. He, in the 9th, hit this home run that just boo, 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 boo. And he has not hit a home run for 2 years.
Wow.
So there's some kind of like, so when this guy who's
this moment is right, yeah.
This guy who's bounced around, blah, blah, and maybe he isn't all that good. I don't know, but there's something miraculous going on.
Well, there's something about your teammates or your coach believing in you. And I think that's both psychological and it is.
And they're also happy. They're such young kids. God, you look at them, you can just eat them up. Anyway, Ray says, Lynn, I am sorry to, what? To repeat?
Right.
I don't understand what he repeated.
Neither do I.
Ray, wait, I don't even understand what you're talking about. Were you...
Well, here's the last one.
Were you with me when we were talking about how now they have... When someone's going to, have a baby, that they now... There are professional photographers that you...
Oh, yeah, right.
Were you here when we were talking about
we talked about it, or some aspect of that, yeah.
Yeah, you actually, you pay someone to come and take pictures of you in labor and giving birth.
Which I would think would be not the most
I can't even begin to imagine. So, okay, I've come upon another thing. I always get this stuff from the Wall Street Journal because I guess this is the kind of stuff that rich people with...
Oh, there's a TV show about that called... Professional Nanny or something like that. And this woman comes to you at some point during your pregnancy and takes care of your life, I mean, sort of as a secretary, etc. But then she often deals with the minutiae, getting you a doula, and there was this one episode where this one woman wanted to have professionally makeup put on, like the half hour before she would be given birth, because they were going to have one of these fancy
photographer, and she wanted to look good. This is so... So, my revulsion, disgust with the self-centeredness of this, with the it is just I can't even. I start to stammer. Well, here's more. And this is not as bad as the birth one, I guess.
Is someone giving birth in the hammock?
No. Now, people going on vacation you hire a photographer to take pictures of you enjoying your vacation.
Yeah. Well,
and there's resorts now that I can see where they'd make money doing this. Resorts have photographers that will spend a few hours with you someday taking professional photos of these moments you don't want to forget.
Well, you know what's very
There's
interesting?
something, I'm sorry, just...
Well, you know what it is? I remember a professor talking about this when my last years in graduate school, when these little cameras and subsequently, your phones, you can take pictures. And he made the point that you remember, he was thinking about this as a professional, mind you, but you learn more about that work of art, whether it be a piece of music or a piece of literature, if you and it have this intimate relation. You're looking at it and you're seeing the blue, or you're seeing what the hand of God is doing, etc. Whereas if you just click it and say, oh, I'll get to that later, or Xerox it, and you can't when there's that thing intervening between you, this veil between you and the act, it just becomes reproduction. I always remember another more sort of silly, personal, familial things. I had this one cousin who would always go on vacation. She was a maiden lady, as they used to say. And she would go on vacation with one of her girlfriends from work. And every time they would say, oh, can we show you the vacation pictures? I remember every picture they took, whether they to Rome or to Greece, was like St. Peter's Cathedral, but with Marian and her worker friend standing in front of it, the exact same pose, but usually so big that you couldn't even see St. Peter's.
Right.
It was one after the other. My father, who was very funny, he said, Marian, can't you get your fat ass out of the way so we can see St. Peter's? And I think so for many people, it's not about going away, relaxing, seeing something, learning something. It's about when you come back saying, ha, Lynn, you haven't been on the Serengeti.
Well, see, but now you know what's driving this? Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Because people now post their pictures, and they want... There's always some kind of status thing going on, like, we want a very special picture.
Oh, right. No one
we
else
want
does
not
that,
only people to know that we were in St. Bart's, but we want to look like some kind of, like a Viagra ad.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, what is there that one site? What's a new one, Jess? You probably know this. Prinzit or something, where it's all just about pictures. It's not much text. Pinterest, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be the new hot thing, or it was 2
Well,
weeks
you know
ago.
what? I just want to say to everybody, we're not... I'm not even as interested in my own life as you seem to think I would be interested in yours. I don't care, okay?
That's that's just the first carousel of slides.
Yeah. Ray, this your Camus thing didn't really come through. It didn't look attached. Ray is on to...
Oh, I see.
You said he was so well educated, like a Renaissance man.
Yes,
he's now sending us Camus.
Oh, my. We got to another French thing, if it wasn't me. Albert Camus, yes.
Albert Camus.
No, but you're absolutely right about that. Like if someone says, oh, I have, or wedding pictures. All right, we couldn't be at the ceremony. There's 3 pictures, bride and groom, the wedding cake. Thank you. We don't need to see the brooch on Aunt Mary's lovely dress, which she's worn 40 times.
Or people now take pictures of their dinners. I am not kidding you. Yes. And he posts, look what we ate.
And here's the crab salad that made Uncle Frank so sick.
Yeah. I'm waiting for pictures later of the toilet bowl and and here's
it was a good poop.
Yeah, right. I mean, come on, guys. I don't care. There's no sense of what...
Navel gazers.
Well, the other thing, I can rail about this till I'm blue in the face. Any sense of a line between private and public does not exist for anybody maybe under the age of 30. I don't know.
I don't know if I told this story before, but one time back in the 70s, or maybe early 80s, whenever the cell phones first came out, I remember standing in line. It was Valentine's Day at a card store on Greenwich Avenue in New York. And that's when the cell phones were like as big as,
I remember.
A salary box, like a Pop-Tarts box. And we were standing in line. Everyone was buying their card for their honey or whatever for Valentine's Day. And there was this young woman dressed like a hoochie mama, and she was on her huge cell phone. And before this time, people had them, but they didn't carry them like we all do now. And she got on to her gynecologist. And because we knew this because she was speaking so loudly, oh, and my monthly period, and she was going into great detail. And there was this one old Jewish woman behind her, and finally at one point she tapped this girl on the shoulders and turned to her and she said, honey, I cared about the ebb and flow of the Red Sea. I don't care about yours. And the whole line burst into applause. It was so funny.
Oh, God. Well, that reminds me of a story involving a football player.
Oh, we are. This young lady has turned into a jockey.
Okay, now wait. This goes back to 1980. Yeah, probably 1 or 2. That's when, okay.
The phone starts
and
ringing.
I'm in Vidalia, Georgia.
Ooh, where the onions come from.
Oh, yeah. And where a Hall of Fame Steeler player came from. It's why I was there.
And I must correct you, it's Vidalia.
Vidalia. His name is Mel Blunt. Have you ever heard of him?
Oh, I've heard that name. Yes, I have.
Okay. Mel Blunt is from Vidalia, and I'd gone down to Vidalia to film him and sit with his wonderful old mother on the family front porch in a rocking chair in 125-degree heat, and all of that. They were farmers, and so I had a great time. Anyway, later, I ended up at whatever airport that would have been, the nearest airport to Vidalia. We had to drive quite a bit to get there. And we're in the airport, and Mel Blunt is showing me this thing that was a cell phone. And you're right. It was...
Yeah, it was like a Pop-Tarts box. Yeah.
It was huge.
It had an antenna, remember?
Yeah, it did. And he said, everyone's gonna have one of these. And I'm looking, thinking, what? He said, I remember him saying, look, I can call right now with this. I'll call Pittsburgh. And he calls Pittsburgh. Well, I can't believe it. I mean, think of how I was blown away. And he said he was in on the ground floor with some group that was doing it, and so maybe he made some money off of him. I hope he did. But the first one I saw, I'll never forget it because it was Mel Blunt in Georgia, and so it would have been about 1981 or 2. I would think. But I couldn't.
Well, now we have those things, just the Bluetooth thing.
Oh, God. And pretty soon they'll just be implanted right in your head.
I'm sure.
And so you
in
won't.
one of those bacteria holes.
Fecal transplant things.
Yeah, right, exactly.
We'll be snorting
stuff. I'm calling you
from
my ass.
Well, they actually, you know what a butt call is, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
I got one the other day from, you don't know what a butt call is?
Oh, like when you're sitting on your phone.
Yeah, that's right.
I got a butt call the other day from Dr. Stiles, the hypnotist. I did. I couldn't believe it. I saw my ID said Dr. William Stiles. I thought, Dr. Stiles. I used to do spots for him. I thought maybe he's going to advertise. Hi, I said. How are you? He said, who is this? I said, Lynn Cullen. Oh. You could tell the confusion. It was a butt call.
Now, that's, it's funny. Other than Seinfeld, of these words that come, a butt call. 2 years ago, no one would have known what that meant.
No, I mean...
what, misstyle?
Butt dial.
Butt dial? Oh, okay.
That's right, it is
well,
the dial.
Maybe,
right.
well, okay. But that's not far. I think we're done. You know what? We are so done, Tom.
Dude.
We're done,
We're done, dude.
We're done, dude. Okay. That's it.
Bye-bye.
Guys, keep cool. Go Pirates! Ha ha! Go Pirates! Sweep the Astros! Yes! Isn't that the team George W. used to own?
No
Kill them! All right, we're done.
What are they called?
The Houston Astros.
Oh, Astros and Mastros. I knew it.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.